Well, hello, hello. This is Cindy, your host at Bucket List Coach Web Show Live. And make sure that you follow me on YouTube. Simply go to where'scindynow.com. So, a really quick plug for StreamYard. If you are a small to medium sized business and you would like a video podcast just like this, simply go to StreamYard.com. And if you would like to comment today go to StreamYard.com/Facebook. So, both of the platforms marry. I am a ambassador with National Day Calendar. Make sure you go to nationaldaycalendar.com. There's so many reasons to celebrate today, and one of them is National Beer Day. And if you go to YouTube, you could actually check out my interview with the beer admiral that I interviewed at the Carnival Panorama back in December of 2019. So a little bit about me. I am a full-time travel agent and podcaster, and I created this show so I could share my bucket list and also have guests on here telling all about what they are doing to make the most of the dash. So today I have my friend, Dr. Renee Gordon. Hello, dear. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you today, Cindy? You look gorgeous, as you.
Thank you. Did before what you're doing right now.
Okay. What I had done before is I had gone to school in Paris for cooking a long time ago, and I really enjoyed going to school there. I was doing some work there as a consultant and had a great time. I always kept my apartment in Beverly Hills, and so that was always home base. But I did have some suggestions about living in Paris, which is different from living, in different parts. Would you like me to share a couple of pointers for some of your audience members who'd like to maybe live there after they visited? Okay.
Yes, definitely.
One of them is when you decide to move to Paris or anything like Paris or France, is get rid of a lot of stuff that you already have, big stuff that you don't think you're going to use, because it's really expensive to ship all that there. Most importantly, get rid of big pieces of furniture or any furniture you have, because it is super expensive to ship a couch over. You might as well just get another couch. Another point I like to share is neighborhood matters. I had some friends of mine, some acquaintances who they were a couple, and this is when I was going to school, and they want to live there as they call it, expatriates. And they thought, living right by the train station would be perfect because it's great for convenience. When they lived there, their apartment, they call it as a flat, was gorgeous. It was big. But then there were so many transient people around there, they didn't like the neighborhood. So it's really important that neighborhood really matters. Another one is keep your foreign banking, meaning keep your bank accounts in America. Whether it's American Express or Visa, keep a bank account in America, so that if you have checks or Vimeo or anything like that, if people want to give you deposits of something, you always have an account there in America. That would be so much more convenient. Another one is having a great phone plan, because if you're going to go from Europe to America, you're calling all the time. Sometimes that could get pricey. So get a phone plan in place. One of the things I learned early on, and I learned this before I went to Paris, is have your paperwork and documents absolutely correct. When I travel, I always have like 7 pieces of copies of my passport in case I lose it. So somebody in America has my passport, a copy. Somebody, somebody I know, everybody has a passport of mine and driver's license, and I carry 5 copies with me wherever I travel. I've learned, and it's gotten me out of a lot of out of the weeds, like in tight places, to have your passport, especially if the embassy is not open for whatever reason. I also travel with my little dog. I have like maybe 10 copies of his paperwork, the rabies, the health certificate, that he's American Kennel Club. He's just a little 8-pound little poodle. And so I travel with him all over the world, whether it's Switzerland, France, Spain, any place like that, Mexico, and Canada. Have lots of paperwork, and documentation trumps everything. They don't believe the verbiage at all. You got to have your documentation. So that's really, especially in Paris, or I should say in France, they're very sticklers and they're very meticulous. And the other thing I want to share with you as well is life in the States is different from life in Paris or France or Spain. Don't expect to have the same types of things that they do in America. Like, let's say if you came from New York and you're expecting to see hot dogs or yogurt pretzels, you're not going to find them in in Paris, or 24-hour bodegas as they have in New York, or Tommy's hamburgers like they have in Los Angeles. The most important thing is be ready, be flexible, be adaptable, and just learn the language. And even after 6 months, you'll still, get into the groove. But after a year, you'll get into the groove. Especially if you're looking to get a job, try to find your job before you leave America before you move to Europe or France. Get a job if you need a job, but find your job in America first and communicate back and forth before you move. And you never know, your company may even move you and move that big heavy couch of yours. So that's just kind of a couple of things I want to share, Cindy, that might help your audience members if they want to move to Paris or France.
That's really amazing. I actually like to
was
do
that
a
helpful?
blog post on that. Yes, very helpful.
Oh,
So,
okay, good.
so we both went to culinary school. I went to culinary school in San Francisco. And tell us
Yes.
about your experience with your culinary experience being a student there in Paris.
At Cordon Bleu. Yes, it was really exciting. It was fun, and it was difficult. It was hard because of the language. So you got to know your French. And living there, as I said, you don't know where anything is. It was my first time there. I'm very young, and it was a wonderful experience because it's a deep dive, and you learn really quick. That's the leverage you have on yourself. And the Cordon Bleu is one of the reasons why it's such an excellent school. Besides Johnson Wales in Providence, Rhode Island, which is also a culinary university, is the fact that they have such high standards of perfection, literally perfection. And they are, everything's very precise, everything has to be perfect and streamlined and very fastidious and very neat and very precise.
Yeah.
That's
what
okay.
is that?
That's why it's so expensive. That's why Cordon Bleu is so expensive, because they have such super high standards. And it's a little different than from the Cordon Bleu in America, just a little bit different. So,
Oh, really?
I'm sorry,
So
go
how
ahead,
is
Cindy.
that?
Yeah.
So how is
I
it
don't know the
different?
distinction because it's just a little bit different on the administration. It's just a different style. It has more of an American slant to it than the one in
Mhm.
Europe.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it's all still good. It's all still excellent. By the way, those are my doves. I have doves in my house.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I have a lot of birds. Sorry about that.
So what are some of the must-do bucket list destinations or activities, I should say, within Paris that you want to tell my audience about?
Okay, let's see. I would say definitely the museums. All the museums. If you don't even have to be religious, but the churches are phenomenal. Now there was a
Wow.
church that recently burnt down. They're rebuilding it now, and there's millions and millions of dollars that they're putting into it. And just to go there, you feel the energy and the essence of the history that's there. And it is just a phenomenal experience. Even crossing the bridge, as we were talking about the bridges where you can put a little padlock, and it's a promise of love. So it's very romantic when you go there. And when you're just walking the Champs-Élysées and you're having a glass of champagne or a little picnic, it's just so romantic, especially in April and May, right around now, because they have all the cherry blossoms.
Oh, wow.
So they have white
And
cherry blossoms and pink ones, and it's just beautiful.
so tell me, so if somebody wanted to go to Paris for the first time, what are some of the things that they need to watch out for?
Definitely have, like I said, have your passport, make copies of your passport. Make sure 2 or 3 people in America has your passport. Have emergency phone numbers on you. I would always say, this is wherever you travel, especially as an American in another country, is have a money belt in your shirt tied to your tummy. Make sure that the hotel that you're staying at, and I myself rather stay at a hotel than a hostel or a B&B, because you have somebody who already knows that you're there. If you're traveling alone, definitely stay at a hotel if you can. And that's why saving your money, it doesn't have to be super fancy. It could be a mid-range. Now their mid-range there is like our Four Seasons Ritz-Carlton here. So the prices are astronomical compared to whether it's Los Angeles or New York. But it isn't for the timid, for sure. Take a camera if you can. Have it hidden in a bag and also have your cell phone. But one of the things I like to share is that leave some money at the hotel, but definitely have money orders and things like that. Your American Express vouchers also helps, and definitely your identity. Again, your driver's license, your passport, copied, and on you copies of that, and so that you always have your documentation, and have everybody know who's at the hotel, like the concierge or the front desk people, know that you're traveling. You're going to walk here or walk there or to a flea market, and so they know that you're a single woman or a single guy. You're going here or there. So it's just good to have somebody know where you're going all the time.
So
Just
tell
for
us
safety
about the
reasons.
south of France.
Oh my gosh, that's my favorite, absolute favorite. Saint-Tropez, by far the absolute best. Saint-Tropez and Ez. It is like, it's such history, such rich in history and artwork and little villages, and the people are so warm. And you go there, and the food is more like peasant food, meaning like I was classically trained, but I love the typical classic French food, which is big stews and big pots of stuff, lots of French bread, cheese and wine and escargot, and just wonderful French food.
God.
And it is just, I can taste it now. And between France and the northern Italy, it's like both, because they pair up with each other so well. But the south of France is phenomenal, especially if you like race car driving, which I do, the Formula A cars. I've been to maybe 12 to 14 Monte Carlo Grand Prix, and it's right around now between April and May. And you go there if you go there with a group of friends, like I went there every year with about 13 to 14 girlfriends every year for the Monte Carlo Grand Prix and the Hotel de Paris, which is a casino. And it is tuxedos for men and evening dresses for the women. It is not the casinos that you have in Los Angeles or the Midwest, where you can wear dungarees or jeans and, drinking a can of beer. It is super elegant. Actually, Cindy, it is like walking into a James Bond movie. I couldn't believe it. When I walked, I got goosebumps.
I was just thinking
goosebumps
about
thinking
that.
about it.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. You walk in, and it's just a bunch of girlfriends of mine. There was, I think, 12 of us who've gone regularly, and 12 to 14 of us. And these are girlfriends of mine that I would have lunch in Los Angeles every Friday at a place called the Bistro Garden many, many years ago, every Friday between 11:30 and 3:30. We talk about during the year, where is our next cruise, where are we going to be going for this next vacation or skiing or whatever. But every year, for sure, we schedule the Monte Carlo Grand Prix. So you leave your hotel at Hotel de Paris, and then you go to the casino maybe first for cocktails, and or you go for another cafe for a bistro, as they call it, for dinner. But as you're walking on the street, all around the circular part of Hotel de Paris is a circular driveway, like they have on a James Bond movie, of Rolls Royces, Ferraris, Bentleys, Lamborghinis, all phenomenal cars. It looks like you're going to a luxury car lot. And you see the race car drivers, and they're all in their suits, and they're all European. And they're tall, slender, with the hair, the beautiful shiny suits. It is like walking into GQ magazine. And the women, some of them during the day, are huge hats, and everything is glam to the max.
Wow.
And I love that. And when you go into the casino, it's mandatory tuxedo, not a sport coat with, just like make believe, but you could tell a man's shoes that he's got his stuff together, a watch and his shoes. And it's just very European. I love that kind of like cachet, savvy kind of look. So the girls, all the women dressed up, always usually in long dresses or cocktail dresses, but either beaded or long satin dresses. So I love that. And then during the day for the Monte Carlo Grand Prix itself, everybody's in giant hats, everybody's holding champagne glasses. And if you're lucky, and we were, because we went every year, we got, one of my girlfriends was dating the hotel manager. He put us at the top of the roof. So we got to go all and have our champagne and watch the race at the same time during the day. So the Monte Carlo Grand Prix, have you ever heard of that, Cindy, before?
Of course. I am a big car person. Yes, definitely heard of it. Yes.
Okay, great. Do you know, Cindy, in Long Beach, how they have the Long Beach Grand Prix, and they go around the buildings of Long Beach, and they block off the street? You've seen that, right, sweetie? Yes?
Yes.
They do the same thing
amazing.
in Paris. In the south of France, around Monte Carlo. And Monte Carlo is its own entity. away from the city of Paris. It is its own city because it's a royal family that has it. They have that type of government, and it has its own entity. So the cars go all the way around all these buildings, and it is just such a glamorous, phenomenal thing to do. And then the parties before and parties afterwards, and then you're right there in Monte Carlo where you see all the giant yachts coming in, private
Oh my
yachts,
God.
and that's all the parties are. Yeah, and all the people who are on the crew matching uniforms for each ship. If the ship is yellow and blue, the yellow and blue uniforms come off. They're getting the food. You see them early in the morning, like 5:30, 6 o'clock, because I would go running, and you could tell which ship they came off of. These giant yachts, like 250, 300-foot yachts or more. You don't have the little ones. They're giant ones, and they look like
Wow.
something out of a James Bond movie.
Yeah, we have 2
Okay.
more minutes.
Okay. Okay. So, what would you like me to share with you,
I want to hear more about what we're talking about,
Cindy?
because that's kind of on my car porn bucket list.
Oh,
Yeah, about
yeah. The
Monte
other thing
Carlo.
too about the south of France is Monte Carlo is the shopping is phenomenal. I mean, you don't get
Wow.
bargains there, but it's like walking down Rodeo Drive. But the city, it's like the city of Monte Carlo. Is twice as big as Beverly Hills, but every store is a beautiful, just a beautiful designer store. Each one, and they're everything smells great, and you have to look fantastic, and you just have to you bring a pair of flat shoes with you and your heels, and then when you go for afternoon tea, and then you go for another event. Now, Monte Carlo in general, Cindy, is a quiet place. It's real quiet during the year. During the 2-week Monte Carlo during the Grand Prix, there's a lot of action. It's like stepping into a set of a James Bond movie. Now, the other part of the south of France that I think you'll really enjoy too, with giant yachts as well. Giant yachts, like 300, 350, 400-foot yachts, is Saint-Tropez. You pull up, and it's like within 20 feet is a yacht. But then they have the boardwalk, and they have all these restaurants, and they have the beautiful beaches where people the women are in thongs and literally topless, but they're gorgeous bodies. Everybody's tan, and it's nothing sexual at all. It's just a way of life. It's a European living. As gorgeous people, just beautiful people. No one's getting drunk, and they serve you on the beach. You have a cabana. Of course, I brought my little dog, and you just have a great time. And you eat. You put your little swimsuit cover on, and you have lunch, and it's just a phenomenal place to be. So I can live there. And they also have vineyards in the south of France as well, in Saint-Tropez and in Eze and in Nice. Yeah, Nice is a great place. Nice is like Santa Monica or San Diego, but Nice is like, and Nice is great for the Cannes Film Festival. That's another one. That's another great place to visit. During festival, the movie festival, you see tons of movie stars, but then all the parties that you get invited to. So it's just you'd have a phenomenal time. Just a great time. I can't even talk in a short amount of time that I have. Is so much to share with you. I could write books about this, books. And what I share with anybody who's going to Europe, you do it in a first-class way. Don't go cheap. Don't go typical American. Bring lots of money and make sure you have a high amount on your credit card and lots of cash and American Express traveler's checks. And keep it on you, and you're going to have a phenomenal time. But it is priced. It's definitely not Club Med. It's definitely a hike. And that's why I love cruising, because you cruise and you travel, but you only pack once. So I've been on 64 cruises, Cindy. I love cruising.
Whoa, that's amazing. Yeah, we definitely have to talk about that, but I have to put you in the green room so we could close out. I have another guest coming in. So I'm going to put you in the green room, and I'll see you in there right about 30 seconds.
Okay, Cindy, great. Okay, great job, Cindy. Thank you so much.
Thank you, dear. Oh, so amazing to have Renee on, and I cannot wait to have her on again. And make sure that you follow her podcast. That's lovegoddess.podbean.com. Lovegoddess.podbean.com. And also make sure that you follow me on YouTube at Bucket List Coach Web Show Live. Next on the show, I actually have my friend Lisa, She is with Pink Lady Investigations, and she's going to talk all about TikTok and how to grow on your TikTok. We'll see you at one of the beaches of the world. Woohoo!